Welcome to Worksheets Data Studio. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can how you can use Worksheets Data Studio to get the financial stock data from Alpha Vantage. Is a public web service. Just to follow their documentation, here is a simple example how you can get a daily time series, let's say for IBM. If you follow this link, you will get IBM daily stock prices, 100 IBM daily stock prices in that format. This format is not something what is easily consumable, and what you can save to your spreadsheet, save to database, or include into any of your processing or analytics tasks. So that's why I built a simple project for it. And here is I'm showing how I can get, how you can work with this. So here is GS Python, and it's a simple function. So in Data Studio, you can kind of call a specific method, tests, which gets time series for IBM, call this function, and doing some transformations. But before we do any transformation, I just wanted to make this function shorter, return data, and just return whatever we get there. So this example shows us that same data coming from same as we've seen in here, we are receiving there, which is again is not really friendly and is not really something what we can consume easily. So for that reason, we will save it into we will do some transformations, some simple transformation, and after a simple transformation, if we run this function now, we can see data in a much better format, or even as a simple chart. And by the way, there are themes. You can have it light, or you can have it dark, whatever you prefer, just one button away. So we have all our data nicely populated. Next step is to save them to database. In that format, it is as easy as save to database. Let's say create new table called stock1. Primary keys for this table is a symbol and a date, which is kind of expected. Import, and we have 100 rows inserted, and everything, and a new table, that's stock1 created, and also records inserted. So this is kind of a simple helper method what we can use, for instance, for subsequent batches. For instance, in here, we will be loading for IBM, stock data for IBM and for Microsoft. So if we just do a simple return on stock on this particular variable, run it, and we see we have a data for 200 rows and for 2 symbols for IBM and so now is the time how you can use API. Here is a SQL Data API where you can save data to the same, for instance, table. And as you remember, our table stock1, test stock1, had already 100 rows, and now based on those keys, we will save 200 rows. And we have 100 rows inserted and 100 rows updated. And if we check our table, this table will contain 200 rows already, and all our data is already nicely consumable. So you can see them in a SQL database, And if you want to run this this particular batch, for instance, every day, you can do it. You can just simply download this as an app, and you can run it as a batch, because this is just a simple Node.js project where you can run, where you can kind of start schedule, let's say 8 o'clock every single morning, update your database, and those scripts will automatically update, send you notification, and do whatever you want it to do. So we have our data in a test one stock one table. So now we can consume it in any other client. Also, I want to show how we can leverage it. How can we see it in our Excel, in our new Excel plugin. So this is just a simple Excel plugin what we created. And once you have, you have to log in, use same login and password as you would do it in other places, and you can get the same data. So same connection what I have a SQL shared, and also I have a table called stock one. This is a stock one, and I want to load all the data to a sheet 1, A1. Here we go. All 200 rows populated from my table. And you see date is not something what you can recognize. That's why you need to format it. Just format as a normal date, whatever your choice, whatever your format is. Anyway, this is kind of nicely, you can do whatever you want in your Excel. You can load it once again, that's fine. Or for instance, if you accidentally removed something or changed something, you can just load them again. They are in your database. Or it can go other way. So let's say, for instance, for 7th of July, for IBM, you think price was different. So you're saying just 150, 155, and next day it was 160, 165. Then you can save this to a database, back to the database again. So we changed IBM for 13, those two prices. Going back to our plugin, save data, you can create it into a new table, which automatically recognized all the types, whatever we selected. We can create table and save it, or alternatively, we can merge it back to our stock one table. Save. Done. 3 rows updated. And if we go back to where we started, and if we check stock price here, and if I refresh, all our changes what came from Excel, they are here. And you see a format. So now let's say we're going back and changing to 142, 143. Hit save, data saved. And if we come back here to our Excel plugin and do the same from the same table, stock one, load, all data updated, because they are in database, directly in database, and you can load anything you want, anything you like. So from here you get a nice Excel plugin, which is effectively take any data from any of your SQL databases. You can have some batch processing where you can program some of your data feeds or any of your ETL tasks, which nicely load data into your database on a scheduled manner. And obviously, everything is nicely and tidily kept in the database. So any questions, feel free to ask.